One of the biggest stories in the world of military veterans for nearly 2 decades has been the impact of toxic chemicals on the troops who got exposed to them. Long an issue elbowed aside by the government and the VA, illnesses from working around those toxins was a prevalent cause for concern among vets nationwide. It's partly due to reporters' efforts covering those vets' struggles that finally prompted the change, culminating in the PACT Act of 2022, which expanded coverage for many affected veterans. And one reporter in particular has been on the story since practically the beginning, Military Times' Leo Shane. Leo was recently honored for his work on this topic by the American Legion. Here's some of the ceremony at its annual event.
Last summer, landmark legislation passed ensuring care and compensation to generations of veterans who were exposed to toxic substances.
What this would do is it would make it easier for them to apply for both disability benefits, get money back for their wounds, and also get more care at VA hospitals.
The process to pass the PACT Act wasn't easy, with the bill being blocked in the Senate on the first try.
So veterans staged a weeks-long protest out here, 24 hours standing out here and telling Republicans, telling lawmakers this was an urgent need to get passed. I hopped in my car, I rushed out here to just get the story from them, to meet them. It was a nice light rain. It was a pretty miserable night for them, but it worked. It got their message out. We helped relay their message to the rest of the world. We've been covering this for 15 years. The issue of burn pits was one that the Military Times broke back in 2008, thanks to Kelly Kennedy's great work.
I was in Iraq covering health issues, and I'd seen the Balad burn pit.
After Kelly returned from Iraq, veteran Dan Clare made her aware of a memo warning of the deadly dangers of burn pits.
He'd hit a bunch of other reporters with it, and no one took it. I think they figured that the military wouldn't do something harmful. So we went ahead and ran with it after Dan sent us the memo.
Leo covered the issue in Washington, D.C., and pressed leaders for answers.
How do you move this along at an even faster pace so that they're not waiting 5 years, 6 years for the next big step forward?
I feel intense urgency to move on this.
People like Leo and Military Times have really seen to it that the coverage is there day in and day out, year in and year out, for many decades now.
You know, he writes a story, and then everybody else across the nation picks up on that story.
To have Leo on the beat means that readers are getting someone who's keeping everyone honest, that he's watching VA, he's watching Congress, and making sure that veterans know, hey, this was promised in the bill, is it being delivered? Or, hey, they had talked about this much money over 10 years, is that still going to be the case? It's very easy, especially when we're talking about these big chunks of money, to kind of think of it as a very abstract idea, but I think Leo does a great job of showing exactly what it's going to mean for veterans across the country.
I hope that our coverage is helping improve lives. I hope more veterans are aware of the illnesses that they could face, the dangers that are out there from their time in the military, the exposures they might have suffered, and I hope they can go and use that to not only get the care they need, but pressure VA into providing even more care for them.
Please welcome our 2023 Fourth Estate Award winner for print journalism, Leo Shane.
Well, thank you all very much. I do have some bad news before I start off. I do not have any videos of me with Tom Cruise up in a fighter jet, so I don't want to disappoint everyone first thing in the morning. The good news is that I usually only write a few hundred words when I write stories, so I will keep this brief. I won't delay things too much. Thank you to the American Legion for this award. I'm flattered to be included among the exemplary journalists who've earned the Fourth Estate Award, including my colleague Adam, who unfortunately couldn't be here. And I'm just as flattered this week to be able to talk to the veterans here. Just flattered by the number of veterans who have come up to me and said that they're regular readers of my work and regular readers of Military Times. You know, it's not always easy to see the impact of your work when you're writing and you're not engaging with folks all over the country face to face. So it means a lot to be able to see that we are affecting and helping the individuals we serve. I'm not a veteran. I've always been struck by the generosity of the veterans community in patiently teaching me the issues that are closest to you and the stories that need to be out there. Sometimes very patiently, as your Washington, D.C. staff can tell you. They've got to really walk me through a couple of these things. So I hope I've lived up to their expectations in that work, and I hope I've been able to really share your stories. Covering the PACT Act and the issue of burn pit injuries has been a years-long process for Military Times, dating back to Kelly Kennedy's great work in 2008 and her really bringing this to light. Over the years, reporters like Patricia Keim have kept that work going, and I get to stand here today and accept this award for Military Times, thanks to those years of dedication and the years of exemplary work that they've done. I'd like to thank my editor-in-chief, Mike Roos, for having faith in me to write as much as I could on this topic last year, even before it became evident this was going to become what it became. I think early on, I just had a hunch that this time felt different, that finally we might see something with burn pits. We might actually see some real action on the larger issue of toxic exposure in the military, and not simply the half measures that we had seen. So I've been fortunate to work at two great newspapers in my career in Washington, Military Times and Stars and Stripes. I've had the opportunity to serve troops in the military at both, and I've had the opportunity to work with reporters who are really dedicated to telling the stories of both of those communities, really getting into the story, really representing to the rest of the country what they're missing when they don't know what's going on with troops, with veterans, with military families. And I'm looking forward to next year when I'm sure you're going to hear from another one of my colleagues for their great work for this award. Thank you to my wife, who couldn't be here today, but has heard way too much about the PACT Act over the last 2 years or so, to the point where I think she thinks we might be getting some benefits. We are not. And thank you to my son and daughter, who've been exceedingly polite as I talk about this stuff over the dinner table and ask me why I only talk about boring stuff on TV and when I go places. I don't have a great answer for them. But I do love my work. I do love being able to tell veteran stories. I love being able to share the stories with the rest of the country. And I like being able to let you all know what is going on in Washington, what is going on, how you're being helped, and where the country's falling short. And I plan on doing this as long as I can, and as long as you all keep sharing your stories with me. So thank you very much.